2026 is shaping up to be a massive year for gaming. New worlds, next-gen graphics, and long-awaited sequels, this year will redefine what games can be. From epic open worlds to dark survival adventures, these are 30 of the most exciting upcoming games of 2026. Get ready! The future of gaming starts now. A dark folktale from Korea's Joseon era comes to life like a modern blockbuster. You step into the legend of John Woochi, a roguish mage who wages war against corruption and the unseen forces that feed it. The teaser is pure mood. Shamans chanting under dim lanterns, a twilight forest breathing with fog. Shapes in the mist that are almost human until they aren't. Built in Unreal Engine 5, the project chases cinematic authenticity. Site visits to real Joseon locations, advisors in classic literature and traditional music, and a composer renowned in Korean film and TV. Full gameplay is still under wraps, but the promise is unmistakable. A visceral, culturally rich dark fantasy where odd magic and living myth press in from every edge of the screen. First-person Souls-like is a rare bet, and that's exactly why this hits so hard. From one more level, the studio behind Ghost Runner Valor Mortis throws you into a diseased alternate history Europe during the Napoleonic Wars. You play William, a soldier torn back from death by a substance called neptoglobin, powerful but cursed, then pushed through battlefields rotting with plague and mutation. Combat is up close and punishing in the soul of the genre, but seen through a body-anchored camera. Sword and firearm weave together, dashes snap you through danger, and a left-hand gadget and ability system adds that BioShock meets Dishonored ingenuity to every encounter. The atmosphere leans gothic and grim without defaulting to medieval tropes. It's gunpowder, grit, and supernatural dread.
Valor Mortis, we wanted to try something new and original, a darker experience, while still offering players a true challenge. At the same time, we wanted to stay true to what we do best, making demanding games for hardcore play and original, a darker experience, while still offering players a true challenge. One More Level CEO Simon Bryla said,
an FPS that looks like found footage and feels like a confession. Everything plays out through a body cam strapped to a tactical officer with free aiming, authentic hand motion, and weapons that behave like real objects in your grip. The realism is so stark it blurs the line between game and footage, but this isn't a corridor of headshots. It's a tense, narrative-driven operation where investigations matter, choices have weight, and conversations can be as dangerous as gunfights. Rooms are cleared in sweat and silence, evidence piles into ugly truths, and the camera never blinks. The mood is grounded and uncomfortable in all the right ways, pushing the genre towards psychological crime thriller rather than loud spectacle. Brutal, beautiful sandbox where you start with nothing and try to carve a name into history. Chronicles Medieval blends first-person action, RPG progression, and large-scale strategy in Unreal Engine 5, reinforced by the studio's own Asgard tech. You enter a dynamic vision of medieval Europe as a nobody. No title, no gear, just nerve, then grind your way up. Fight on muddy roads and castle walls, marshal troops, lead sieges, raise fortifications, and make choices that ripple through a living world. The freedom is the point. Become a craftsman, a thief in the hedgerows, a knight selling your blade, or a warlord who redraws borders through diplomacy, betrayal, and conquest. It's big, systemic, and ruthless, with early access planned on PC via Steam in 2026.
Once taken, have only one ending. I shall find. Go write your own.
A a sweeping science fiction role-playing game about distance, time, and the cost of choosing. Built in Unreal Engine 5 by Archetype Entertainment, a team led by veterans of BioWare, Exodus sends the travelers across a distant star cluster in search of relics, allies, and answers. Time dilation isn't just flavor text, it's a narrative knife that cuts both memory and consequence, shaping what your decisions mean to the people you leave behind and the worlds you change. Expect vast environments, alien architecture that dwarfs your squad, and branching quests that chase agency over spectacle while still delivering set pieces that feel cinematic. The backing is heavyweight, the ambition even heavier. If it balances scope with polish, this could redefine spacefaring RPGs.
Thanks again for your help.
You should have been honest.
Loaded weapon is a hell of a way to greet your new partner.
So you're June.
We're burning time.
From the mind of Hideo Kojima and the vision of filmmaker Jordan Peele comes something that refuses to fit into a single box. OD isn't just a game. It's described as a new kind of interactive horror experience built on Unreal Engine 5 and powered by the eerie imagination both creators are known for. The teaser is pure psychological unease, whispers through thin walls, doors knocking on their own, faint lights flickering in endless corridors. Rather than relying on simple scares, it reaches for something deeper. Fear that comes from what you think you see, what you almost hear, what your mind fills in. Xbox Game Studios backs the project, promising next-level immersion and tech that reacts to the player's presence. Whether it ends up redefining horror or dividing the audience, one thing's certain, it's impossible to ignore. Set in a decaying Napoleonic-era Europe torn apart by plague and madness, Hunger thrusts you into a world where survival is a brutal contest between man, monster, and whatever's left of humanity. Developed by Good Fun Corporation in Unreal Engine 5, it mixes PPVE chaos with deep extraction mechanics and close-quarters combat that's as raw as it looks. You scavenge through infested ruins, craft weapons, and fight to extract what you find before others, or the infected take you down. The tone is grim and desperate. Gunfire echoing in fog, blood-soaked alleys, masked soldiers fighting for scraps. It's not just about shooting, it's about tension, timing, and the will to make it out alive. The 12-minute pre-alpha trailer already captures the energy perfectly. Unfiltered survival in a collapsing world.
And do you bring with you a new order? Or do you too? I suspect we shall soon find out. So hot that the stone melted.
A journey into myth and legend, the Age of Bhaarat reimagines ancient India through the lens of Unreal Engine 5, weaving together divine storytelling, mystical combat, and breathtaking landscapes. You play as a forest warden, sworn to protect your homeland from the demonic Rakshasas invading from beyond the realm. The world is vibrant and spiritual, lush jungles, golden temples, rivers lit by fireflies, each corner filled with echoes of Indian epics. Combat relies on rhythm and movement, letting you blend weapon strikes with elemental magic while harnessing powers drawn from nature itself. The game's developers clearly aim to capture the essence of Indian mythology with authenticity and respect, though early previews suggest some rough edges in the combat feel. Even so, the ambition and atmosphere promise something rarely seen in gaming, a mythic action RPG that feels alive with culture and spirit.
Play the Age of Bhaarat. The time has come to declare war!
A cinematic action thriller set in a divided Korea on the verge of reunification. Mudang Two Hearts tells the intertwined story of two characters, a North Korean Special Forces operative and a K-pop idol whose hidden past links them in dangerous ways. Built in Unreal Engine 5, the game merges stealth, visceral combat, and dialogue-driven narrative, with heavy themes of identity, manipulation, and the blurry line between truth and propaganda. You move through neon-lit city streets, secret bases, and high-tech corridors, shifting perspectives as each story unfolds and overlaps. The dual character structure gives emotional weight to every choice, turning political espionage into something deeply personal. If the execution matches the vision, this could stand as one of the most cinematic games to come out of Korea.
당신의 분노는 스스로 결정한 것입니다.
Light No Fire is a fantasy sandbox where every mountain, forest, and ocean exists on a true planetary scale. You can travel alone or with friends, exploring continents, sailing vast oceans, building settlements, and surviving in a world that feels endless and alive. The developers promise oceans that require real ships and crews to cross, with weather systems, creatures, and dynamic ecosystems shaping the experience. The idea is to merge survival and adventure, giving you total freedom while ensuring that exploration remains meaningful. It's built on Hello Games' evolving proprietary engine, carrying forward the tech they perfected with No Man's Sky. The risk of a world this size is obvious, but if they can balance scale with purpose, Light No Fire could become one of the most ambitious open-world projects ever made. Game Freak, the studio famous for Pokemon, takes a bold leap into dark, mature storytelling with Beast of Reincarnation. You play as Emma, a young woman cursed as one of the Blighted Ones, journeying through a ruined, post-apocalyptic Japan swallowed by corruption and monstrous creatures. At her side is Ku, her loyal dog, whose presence is not just emotional but essential in combat and exploration. The tone is deeply somber. Temples collapsing under crimson skies, spirits whispering through decay, and enemies that look born from humanity's sins. Combat is technical and demanding, rewarding precision and timing rather than button mashing. Every encounter feels like a test of skill and patience, while the bond between Emma and Ku gives the story its heart, a fragile connection in a dying world.
Fujigo Emma, お前こそが輪廻の獣を滅ぼす刃となる.
Ill is the kind of horror that crawls under your skin and stays there. Built on Unreal Engine 5 by Team Clout, this first-person survival horror throws you into a decaying research fortress where something unspeakable has taken root. The halls drip with decay, the air hums with distant screams, and every door you open feels like a mistake. The focus is realism, from the physics of how bodies break to the way sound reverberates through dark corridors. Combat is raw and desperate. You can blow limbs off, barricade yourself, or just run. Nothing feels safe or predictable. Ill's monsters aren't just things that chase you. They twist, shift, and contort in ways that make you question what you're looking at. The developers promise a full-body experience where even your breathing feels part of the terror. No release date yet, but this one already looks like it's shaping up to be one of the most disturbing horror games in years. Survival game that feels like a nightmare dragged out of history. Set in 14th century Birmingham, a city strangled by plague and overrun by the undead, God Save Birmingham puts you in the shoes of one of the last survivors. The world is dirty, grounded, and cruel. Cobblestone streets slick with rain and blood, torches flickering in ruined churches, and moans echoing through narrow alleys. Everything is physics-driven. You'll drag furniture to barricade doors, vault fences to escape zombies, and scavenge every corner for scraps of food, water, or a weapon that won't break in your hands. Hunger, thirst, exhaustion all weigh on you as much as the undead themselves. Built for PC early access, the first version will feature a portion of the medieval city, expanding over time. It's gritty historical horror with no heroes, just desperate survivors clinging to what's left of humanity. Blood becomes your greatest weapon in Crisol Theater of Idols. You play as Gabriel, trapped on the cursed island of Tormentosa, a place drenched in Spanish myth and haunted faith. Armed with a gun that uses your own blood as ammunition, every shot you fire drains your life. Developed by Vermila Studios and published by Blumhouse Games, this Unreal Engine 5 title is as stylish as it is brutal. Combat is tense and deliberate, reloads cost health, supplies are scarce, and every encounter feels like a gamble with death. The architecture is twisted Gothic Spanish, all cracked saints and bleeding altars, with a soundtrack that feels like a hymn turned inside out. The entire world oozes religious dread, guilt, and sacrifice. Expected on PC, PS5, and Xbox, Crisol looks like a fever dream where survival and self-destruction are one and the same.
So my soul may ascend to you. Consumed in your flames for all eternity. Now.
In a world where magic hums through machinery and cities glow with mana instead of electricity, you awaken as an automaton guardian built to protect and to question. Welcome to Brightville is a first-person mana-punk adventure that blends fantasy and steampunk into one hypnotic whole. The city is alive, brass towers, floating lanterns, gears turning under enchanted light. You'll harness both sorcery and technology, using your environment to fight, sneak, or manipulate your way through an ever-shifting web of mysteries. Every system reacts, fire spreads, glass shatters, metal conducts mana, turning every encounter into a sandbox of possibilities. Think of it as BioShock meets Dishonored, but with its own shimmering personality. Developed with Unreal Engine 5, Brightville isn't due until 2027, but even now it feels like one of the most imaginative worlds in the making, a city where beauty hides corruption, and machines whisper secrets only you can hear.
Behind you. What's a flying and
Step into a realm where Chinese mythology breathes with divine fire and shadow. Swords of Legends from Oregon, Shanghai is a single-player action RPG powered by Unreal Engine 5, and it looks like a living myth painted in motion. You take on the role of Si Pan, an underworld enforcer charged with managing lost souls and wielding artifacts of ancient power. The world around you is caught between life and death. Mountains drift through clouds, rivers shimmer with spirits, and every battle feels like a ritual. Combat focuses on grace and precision rather than chaos, letting you chain together attacks, unleash celestial powers, and capture enemy souls to strengthen your own. Instead of sprawling open-world distraction, it's described as a wide linear journey, focused but grand, with deep storytelling and emotional weight. It's that rare mix of elegance and edge, where every slash feels like a prayer, and every scene glows with the mysticism of Chinese legend.
What? Soulless husk?
If you know not life.
Imagine sailing across a surreal ocean where every wave hides a secret, every island whispers a forgotten name, and even your own memories can't be trusted. Sea of Remnants throws you into the skin of a puppet-like sailor who's lost their past, joined by a mysterious girl on a voyage through storm-split seas and crumbling civilizations. The port city of Orbtopia beats like a living organism, changing based on your choices and allegiances. You'll recruit over 300 companions, navigate faction politics, and dive into a mix of turn-based island combat and real-time naval warfare. The art style is pure madness, part graffiti punk, part dreamscape, while the world feels like it's built from fragments of forgotten dreams and drowned gods. If it all comes together, this could be a genre-bending masterpiece. But with so many interconnected systems, naval battles, diplomacy, memory mechanics, it's a high-stakes gamble on creative ambition. From the creators of Little Nightmares comes a new descent into surreal horror. Reanimal follows a brother and sister trapped in a half-flooded nightmare world where their trauma takes monstrous form. It's equal parts stealth, platforming, and raw emotion, blending cinematic visuals with a sense of suffocating closeness. You'll creep through half-sunken streets, decaying schools, and drowned cities, stalked by grotesque beasts that mirror the children's own fears. Whether you play solo or in co-op, the camera moves as if it's breathing down your neck, amplifying every heartbeat. The creatures, half animal, half memory, are as tragic as they are terrifying. If the pacing and atmosphere land as strongly as they did in Little Nightmares, Reanimal could easily become one of those horror experiences people talk about for years, the kind that feels more like a haunting than a game. Capcom's long-awaited sci-fi adventure finally resurfaces, and it's looking strikingly emotional. Pragmata takes you to a lunar research station where you play as Hugh, a human astronaut, alongside Diana, a childlike android companion. Together, you're trying to survive a collapsing station and find a way back to Earth. The gameplay we've seen mixes fast-paced action and thoughtful puzzles, with Diana hacking into enemies mid-combat, while Hugh uses thrusters and weapons to fight back against both mechanical threats and the emptiness of space. Built in Capcom's powerful RE engine, every shot looks crisp, reflective, and eerily beautiful, the moon's surface lit by ghostly neon and broken satellites. The partnership between Hugh and Diana gives the game its soul, turning each battle and escape into a moment of fragile humanity.
Get some! You're going down!
Beat things faster! Wait! Got it! Missile spotted!
First-person fantasy rarely feels this personal. Fatekeeper from Paraglacial under THQ Nordic drops you into a world where crumbling ruins and sacred relics hum with power, and every path you choose rewrites your destiny. It's a handcrafted RPG experience, ancient caverns, enchanted forests, and forgotten cities rendered with haunting beauty. You'll wield both sword and spell, mixing physical combat with magical precision, using your environment as both weapon and shield. Exploration feels deliberate, almost meditative, while combat snaps with intensity, each strike carrying real weight. The tone is dark, yet hopeful, more about rediscovering the remnants of a lost world than saving it. Early access on PC is planned for winter 2025, leading into a full release the following year. If it manages to balance depth, atmosphere, and progression, Fatekeeper could easily earn a place beside the greats of first-person fantasy storytelling. In Aniimo, the world of Idil unfolds like a dream painted in light and movement, a vast open world alive with mysterious creatures known as Animos. But instead of capturing them, you become one with them through a process called twining, merging your essence with theirs to unlock new powers, forms, and perspectives. You play as a pathfinder, a wanderer bonded to nature and spirit, exploring sunlit meadows, thunderous cliffs, and mist-covered lakes where every Aniimo behaves differently depending on the weather, time, and environment. Some creatures are gentle, others wild, but each bond tells its own story. The gameplay blends exploration, research, and transformation, letting you evolve alongside your Animos, growing together as one living entity. The art direction radiates warmth and wonder, making Aniimo feel like a meditation on connection between species, elements, and the world itself. Tokyo has drowned, half swallowed by the rising sea, half reborn in neon. In Last Sentinel, you step into the role of Hiromi Shota, an elite operative working for the DMNS agency in a fractured, near-future Japan. The old city rusts beneath the tides while the new Tokyo glitters above it, separated by towering walls that keep both the water and the truth at bay. Built in Unreal Engine 5 by Lightspeed LA, this open-world action RPG feels like a visual poem about decay and control. The developers promise an immense living world where choices ripple through storylines, alliances, and the environment itself. You'll switch between stealth, high-tech combat, and deep narrative decisions that define who Hiromi becomes, savior, betrayer, or something in between. Every street pulses with rain-soaked light, every reflection hides a story, and every shadow might be watching you. Last Sentinel feels like Blade Runner reborn in Tokyo's flooded heart, heavy, elegant, and beautifully human. Arts could bleed poetry, they would look like Phantom Blade Zero. Developed by S-Game using Unreal Engine 5, it's an action RPG drenched in style and tragedy. You play as Soul, a legendary assassin framed for a crime he didn't commit, given just 66 days to uncover the truth and survive the conspiracy closing in. The world is a blend of steampunk machinery and mystical kung fu fantasy. Ancient temples lit by candles, rusted airships drifting through fog, blades flashing faster than thought. Combat is pure spectacle, fast, fluid, and cinematic, with a precision that turns every duel into choreography. Phantom Blade Zero feels like a living wuxia film, intense, elegant, and tragic in tone. Its official release date is still unconfirmed, but all signs point to a 2026 launch window. If it delivers on its promise, this could become one of the defining action RPGs of the decade. Animula Nook is like stepping into a fairy tale inside a teacup, a cozy fantasy life sim where you shrink down into a miniature world brimming with charm and detail. Everyday objects become towering landmarks, dewdrops turn into lakes, and sunbeams are bridges between dreams. You'll build, craft, and explore alongside whimsical creatures, collecting sunshine and raindrops as resources while decorating your tiny home and building friendships. Developed by Lilylandia Games and published by Tencent, the game bursts with color and tranquility, designed to make every moment feel soothing and alive. It's coming to PC, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch 2, though the release date remains unannounced. Animula Nook doesn't chase tension or drama. It invites you to slow down, breathe, and lose yourself in a world that feels like a storybook come to life.
Scenery. Capture this beautiful moment with your flash, and we'll meet again.
A brutal cinematic fantasy epic, Crimson Desert is Pearl Abyss's ambitious open-world action-adventure built on their proprietary Black Space engine. You play as Cliff McDuff, a battle-worn mercenary caught in the chaos of Pywell, a continent tearing itself apart through war, rebellion, and myth. The world is dense and tactile, filled with towering beasts, dragons, and mechanical horrors that look forged by alchemy and steel. Combat is fierce and fluid, a mix of raw swordplay and dynamic traversal, galloping across fields, scaling cliffs, fighting from horseback, or battling on moving wagons. Beneath the chaos lies a full survival system, hunting, fishing, cooking, and crafting your way through the broken land. Every inch of Pywell breathes with cinematic energy, and every scene feels ready for a movie screen. Ananta throws you into a vibrant, futuristic metropolis where skyscrapers shimmer like glass monoliths and chaos lurks beneath neon calm. Built by NetEase and several collaborating studios, this open-world action RPG puts you in the role of an elite agent navigating a sprawling urban playground filled with intrigue, combat, and freedom. The city feels alive. Cars hover between glowing towers, drones scan the streets, and crowds react to every decision you make. Gameplay combines fluid traversal that lets you swing, vault, and wall run across the skyline with fast-paced melee and ranged combat inspired by cinematic action. The tone is sleek but grounded, part cyber espionage, part emotional drama. With cross-platform ambitions and a technical test planned for late 2025, the full release is expected around 2026. If it pulls together its stylish momentum and deep progression systems, Ananta could be one of the next great futuristic sandboxes.
Why is traffic still so backed up?
Hello, Cap, are you there?
Are you talking to me?
Cold metal corridors, flickering fluorescent lights, and silence thick enough to make your heart pound. That's routine. This first-person sci-fi horror game traps you on an abandoned lunar station built with 1980s visions of the future, chunky computers, CRT monitors, and eerie corporate cheerfulness. You arrive to fix a communications fault, but instead, you find echoes of something gone terribly wrong. Every hallway feels alive, as if the machines themselves are watching. Armed only with your cosmonaut assistance tool, a scanner, and hacking device, you'll sneak, hide, and uncover the story piece by piece through old recordings and data logs. There's no HUD, no comfort, just the hum of your own heartbeat and the shadows moving when they shouldn't. Built in Unreal Engine 5, Routine emphasizes atmosphere over combat, crafting dread from silence and anticipation.